To better understand what the best solution for marijuana would be, whether to legalize it or to keep it federally outlawed, I performed a research study to conclude its standing compared to that of alcohol, nicotine, and caffeine. There, I recorded information about each of the types of properties among the drugs, as well as how they are viewed socially. I found that all the drugs that are legal currently are so partly due to the fact that they were socially accepted through key points in history. Marijuana, on the other hand, is still battling social norms and has to overcome the general public's displeasure about it before it can become legalized. My hypothesis is that the addictive qualities of all the drugs are not too dissimilar, and it is only a matter of time until marijuana is fully legalized due to the public changing their outlook upon it as it becomes more and more socially acceptable.
Pot. In it.
The purpose of this project is to decipher if the public's rejection to the social appeal of marijuana will overturn, thus having it become a legal product in the near future. Currently, we have numerous drugs that the general public uses on a daily basis that, although they cause problems with humans who use, overuse, and abuse them, the drugs are legal and looked upon favorably. This report presents the basic history of caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol and compares them to marijuana. We will see the drug's evolution through history, daily consumption, and possible negative reactions in relation to that of marijuana. To test my hypothesis, my methodology includes collecting online periodicals relating to the consumption of alcohol, caffeine, and tobacco in everyday life, in addition to articles from many news sources relating to them to average Americans' usage. I also searched for relevant articles about the consumption of marijuana and its development through history. My latter searches turned up information regarding marijuana's supposed addictive nature as well as its current use in the mainstream. There are numerous articles, both for and against marijuana, that will be shown throughout this report. My English class subjects and Google News sources helped me prepare for the empirical part of my study, which was a thorough search through archived information vetting each subject. I began examining each drug and the part it played through history to where we are today. Starting with caffeine, I traced the root and heritage of how and where the cocoa bean first came into human existence. The next step was following its evolution through the years and marking how it was transformed through generations of culture to the product you have today. Finally, I include Americans' consumption of coffee and any effects that it has currently imposing to the general public. I use the same method of research for all the drugs in this report, including tobacco, marijuana, and include alcohol with the same description. Finally, after researching the heritage, evolution, and current popularity of each item, I called in to question the general public's feelings of content towards the product. We will see if the public's acceptance or refusal of a product aided or even led to its legalization. In observing the timelines of caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol, it was apparent that all of the drugs of choice were used to aid the people taking them in some way. In each case, the participant enjoyed the reaction of taking the substance, and it was seen by the general public to be beneficial in some way. Caffeine is an alkaloid compound that acts as a stimulant in humans. Caffeine is found in the leaves and beans of the coffee plant, as well as in the beans, leaves, and fruit of over 60 types and varieties of plants. Humans have consumed caffeine since the Stone Age, to which it was found that early people chewed the seeds, bark, and leaves of certain plants. Later, during the 16th and 17th century, it was found that the effect of caffeine was increased by steeping such plants in hot water. During this time, coffee houses were established in Europe. Today, global consumption of caffeine has been estimated at 120,000 tons per annual, making it the world's most popular psychoactive substance. In North America, 90% of adults consume some amount of caffeine daily. Caffeine is a central nervous system stimulant having the effect of temporarily warding off drowsiness and increasing alertness. It is used both recreationally and medicinally to reduce physical fatigue, give faster and clearer thought, increase focus, and improve general body coordination. As Americans invest more time in the mindset of doing more things faster, the addition of coffee to their lives has proven to be most beneficial. The improved motor functions for all consumers of caffeine, in addition to feelings of faster and clearer thought, has given caffeine and all supplements with it a popularity boost. The general public has socially accepted and approved consuming caffeine for hundreds of years despite any overusage that may result in difficulty of sleeping, irritability, irregular heartbeats, nausea, muscle tension, ulcers, heartburn, and headaches with people. Another psychostimulant alkaloid that's popular today is known as tobacco. Tobacco is part of the nightshade family known as Nicotiana tabaculum and was discovered and cultivated in the Americas as early as 6000 BC. There are more than 70 species of tobacco which has been cultivated for such a long time now that it no longer grows wild. Products manufactured from dried and cured tobacco leaves include cigars, cigarettes, pipe tobacco, flavored tobacco, among many others. From the early start of planting and harvesting this crop, tobacco has grown into a $1 billion industry. Tobacco has many forms today that previous harvesters didn't get a chance to take advantage of. Every year, there's roughly 6.7 trillion tons of tobacco produced throughout the world. Cigarettes have become one of the more popular methods of using tobacco and nicotine. With smoked tobacco comes additional harmful constituents and chemicals. Nicotine has a psychostimulatory effect of the central nervous system at low doses by enhancing norepinephrine and dopamine in the brain. At high doses, nicotine enhances the effect of serotonin, exerting a calming and depressing effect on the individual. Continued overuse of the product can cause severe and adverse side effects on people. Tobacco is the single greatest cause of preventable death. Looking at the last legal yet harmful substance, we see alcohol and its variations. Anthropologists have suggested that humans may have first settled in specific places in order to cultivate the ingredients of beer, which may have preceded bread as a staple. Alcoholic beverages like that of beer, mead, and wine provided both nutrition and needed calories, a trading commodity, a medication, a social lubricant, and played a role in religion. Since the earliest invention of fermented beverages, alcohol has grown tremendously. Glancing over the evolution of cultures and their impact with alcohol, we see a steady rise of expansion of culture as well as alcohol. Each culture used alcohol as a therapeutic as well as medicinal use. When drunk in moderate consumption, an individual can have sensations of euphoria as well as overall improvement in mood, increased self-confidence, increased social ability, and decreased anxiety. Used recreationally has been seen as enhancing the enjoyment and quality of life. The general public has accepted this way of living for hundreds of years despite alcohol's dark. Abuse of alcohol can lead to a whole variety of social ailments, including impaired judgment, malnutrition, alcoholic liver disease, and damaging every organ in the body, leading to cancer. Finally, the issue of marijuana comes to light. Cannabis's history and evolution has been a long one which was first mentioned in 2737 BC, in that the Emperor Shen used it as medicine. From that time forward, there have been many instances in that it was used medicinally, use of hemp for industrial needs, and used recreationally as well. Its use has been mentioned in history books through much of Europe and China for centuries, and only has come under fire since the early 1900s in the United States. Cannabis is an annual flowering herb under the genus flowering plant species known as Cannabis sativa. Cannabis was, when ingested, inhaled, or consumed, has psychoactive effects which cause a variety of effects. These effects include a state of relaxation and, to a lesser degree, euphoria, as well as philosophical thinking, introspection, and finally an increase in heart rate and hunger. There have yet to be any damning evidence to anything disease associated with marijuana overdose. So far, the running total of deaths linked to marijuana throughout history is 2. Over the long history of use, marijuana has been widely accepted among the people who use it medicinally as well as recreationally in the United States. In the United States, there has been controversy towards legalizing it, with recent years leaning more towards it favorably. Overall, I found that each drug has a lengthy history and influence to everyone who uses them. In each case, the drug was found or cultivated in very early history and cultivated along the way. Caffeine, tobacco, alcohol, and marijuana were all seen and tried by early settlers and have progressed to a more marketable product that everyone has enjoyed. Each of the drugs have different effects on a person and marketed a certain way. The general public's acceptance to the marketing has embraced each drug no matter what the downside is of them. In each case, the favorability of the drug outweighs any problem that the drugs may have had with negative connotations of abuse. So, what insights can we gain into how the popularity of a drug can make it more mainstream, and thus become legal to every person who wants it? It would seem that popularization or popularizing the effect of it over its mainstream media, downplaying its negative sides, and using it for its intentional use, whether it's medicinal or recreational, is the answer. The findings, as listed, provide that the general public is for a drug that, when taken in moderate doses, regardless of negative factors, will improve the human condition, is looked upon favorably. As our society progresses, we will see marijuana taken down from the negative pedestal it was placed upon to becoming a favorable household product used by the general public in all manners of life.